And after that, knight to e5 by white, putting some pressure over this c6 pawn. And there is a variation which starts with c5, which opens the diagonal of this light square bishop, but white can now go for knight to g5, creating some pressure over this h7 pawn. So that's why g6. Okay, and after that, knight takes f7, rook takes f7, and before capturing this rook, bishop to c4 must be considered first, which creates immense pressure over this rook. So to stop this, bishop to d5, but after that, knight takes f7, bishop takes f7, bishop takes f7 check, king takes f7, queen to c4 check, king to g7. And despite of having equal material, you can see white pieces are more active than black pieces, and you can see this king on g7 will not feel so safe. So that's why after the move knight to e5, yeah, after this move, here Carlsen decides to exchange the knights. And since this h7 pawn is attacked, so that's why h6. And now here's the best move for white is to just develop this dark square bishop, but instead here Vladislav goes for e6. And what's the main motive behind this? Basically, after this game, Vladislav said in an interview that he was hoping for black to capture on e6 with the idea of bishop takes h6. And after g takes h6, now comes and guys, now here's a puzzle for you. Just pause the video and try to find a way for white to draw this game. And let me give you a hint. If this white queens somehow goes to this h6 square, you can see white can give perpetual checks to black and you can see that will be a draw. So yes, you are right. The move is bishop takes c6. Okay, and after bishop takes c6, queen to g6 check, king to h8, queen takes h6 check, king to g8, queen to g6 check, and you can see that's a draw. And obviously Carlsen also sees this draw, but now comes the most interesting part of this game. Basically basically at the move e6, uh, Carlsen sees Vladislav clock ticking down, so he rejects this draw and he goes for the move queen to c7, which is a mistake because now firstly Vladislav captured on f7 with a check, rook takes f7, and now comes bishop to d5, pinning this rook and taking benefit of this pinned c6 pawn. So that's why now Carlsen decides to brings his another rook to f8, and and guys, you know what he played in the next move. In this position, Vladislav shocked everyone by sacrificing his bishop by bishop takes h6. And we all know that after capturing this bishop, black king side gets shattered. So that's why here Carlsen goes for. Okay, so now rook at a goes to e1, and clearly you can see the intention of white. Okay, so now bishop to f8 by Carlsen, and you can see black is now threatening to play rook to f6 so that he can neutralize the attack of white. So that's why the best move is bishop to g5, which is recommended for which is recommended for white, so that he can stop the move rook to f6. But here he missed that move, and instead he goes for rook to d1. And after that, here Carlsen instantly goes for rook to f6. And you can see now white has to lose one of them. And Carlsen is back into the game. But guys, you are wrong. Because in this position, Vladislav shocked everyone by rook at d goes to d8. He completely gives up this queen, and let's suppose if black captured this queen by rook takes g6, this is losing because of rook takes f8 check, king to h7, and finally rook to h8 checkmate. So that's why let me go back to the move this. Here the best move for black is to go for bishop to c6. This is because let's suppose if rook takes f8 check, rook takes f8, queen to e6 check, queen to f7, rook takes f8 check, king takes f8, queen takes c6, g takes h6, queen takes h6 check, king to e7, and you can see although white is still better, but you can see here black has also some chance if white does any mistake. But in the actual game, after rook to d8, here Carlsen missed this move and he goes for bishop takes g2. And in this position, Magnus Carlsen resigned because you can see now there's nothing that black can do to save this game because of rook takes f8, rook takes f8, and finally rook takes f8, and you can see this is mate. Like this video and I will see you in the next one. This is your host Bison signing off. Bye bye.